They said they'd pay you back. Maybe it wasn't a huge amount, maybe it was. But you gave it willingly, not because you had extra to spare, but because you trusted them. You wanted to help. Weeks passed, then months. No update. No apology. Just silence that speaks louder than any thank you never said. And still, you wait. Not because you're desperate, but because somewhere inside, you hoped they'd remember that it mattered. This isn't just about money. It's about the feeling of being overlooked, like your kindness was disposable. You replay it in your head. Should I reach out? Should I just let it go? And every time their name comes up, or their face flashes on a screen, you feel something tighten. Not just in your chest, but in your energy. Things stall, bills pile up, work feels stuck. You wouldn't think the two are related, but somehow, they are. Because when a debt lingers, it doesn't just affect your bank balance. It clogs your emotional space. It blocks trust, creativity, even income. You don't need drama. You don't want revenge. You just want to clear the air and your energy so life can move again. And you can. Not by confronting, not by reminding, but by using something so small, so simple. It almost feels like nothing at all. A quiet ritual involving a box, a bill, a name, and your belief that what's yours will always find its way back. Just maybe not through the door you expected. So if you've ever lent money and been left hanging, this is for you. Because what you gave still holds value, and there's a way to call it home, quietly, powerfully, naturally. Part 1. Let the box do what words can't. You've probably played this moment out in your head. 100 times you confront them. You stay calm, you ask kindly, firmly, can we talk about the money? But the moment never comes. Or if it does, it ends with deflection, excuses, or worse, avoidance. That leaves you feeling even more small. Like asking for what's yours makes you the problem. So you stop bringing it up. You let time stretch longer than it should. You carry the tension silently, and with each passing day, the silence around that debt becomes heavier. Not just in your finances, but in your body, your mood, your outlook. That's because energy doesn't just vanish, it collects. Unspoken words gather like dust in the corners. Unacknowledged pain echoes louder the longer it's ignored. And unpaid debts. They become anchors, invisible, but real. That's why you don't need more words. What you need is a container, something to hold. What's been sitting in your chest so long? It started shaping the way you breathe. You need something outside of the usual, not a phone call, not a confrontation, not another text that goes unanswered. You need a ritual, small, private, intentional. A way to reset the energy around what happened, and invite a shift that doesn't depend on anyone else. That's where the box comes in. Not just any box, a simple one. Paper or cardboard. Something soft to the touch, light in the hands. Not glass. Not metal. Nothing that feels cold or sharp. This isn't about trapping energy. It's about releasing it gently. A box like this becomes a vessel. Not for the debt itself, but for your readiness to let it go. And in doing so, create space for something to return. The ritual begins the moment you choose this box, not randomly, but intentionally. Let your hand pause over it. Feel it. It doesn't need to be fancy. It needs to feel right. That feeling is the first signal that you're no longer stuck. You're moving, even if just a few quiet steps. Now, place a clean bill inside. Doesn't matter the amount, but it must be real, uncreased, and handled with care. This isn't just a dollar. This is an energetic stand-in, a symbol of flow. A message to the universe that you are ready to receive again. Not just what was lost, but more. When you choose a higher denomination, even if it's not close to what was owed, you're sending a signal. I'm open to greater returns than I expected. But if all you have is a single bill, it's enough as long as it carries your sincerity. It's never about the number. It's about the energy. Beside the bill, you'll place a folded piece of paper. On it, you've written only two things: their name and a sentence that changes everything. Thank you for fully repaying me. That's it. Not a plea. Not a demand. Just a quiet declaration, as if it's already done. As if you've already been made whole. You're not lying to yourself. You're practicing alignment. The kind that says, I no longer wish to hold this open loop. I am sealing it. I am returning the energy back to balance. Now fold that paper into 3 deliberately, not rushed. With each fold, let your body release. 1 for the past, for what happened. 1 for the present, for what you're choosing now. 1 for the future, for what you're ready to receive. This act, simple as it may seem, is powerful. You are converting memory into intention, pain into motion, stagnation into signal. Add a small handful of dry lentils or brown rice to the box, enough to lightly cover the base. These aren't just pantry items. They are seeds, symbols of growth, of slow and steady wealth, of nourishment. You are laying down the foundation, a fertile field, and with every seed, you're saying, I am planting the energy of return. Then, close the box gently. Don't slam it. Don't lock it. This isn't a tomb, it's a temple. A place where energy, once tangled, is now at peace. And as you close the lid, say out loud or in your mind, I gave from the heart. And now, you will repay because it is right. Speak it 3 times. Not as a chant, not as a command, but as a knowing. The first time opens the space. The second anchors your intention. The third seals it. You have spoken. You have released. You have shifted the story from waiting to allowing. Place the box in a safe place, a drawer, a shelf, anywhere that feels still and private. Then walk away. Don't check it. Don't open it every morning to see if something's changed. That act alone would be telling the universe, I still don't trust this. And trust is the current that carries return. Now, you've done your part. What happens next may come from the person who owes you, or not. It may come through a refund, a raise, a favor, a forgotten check. It may be a surprise so fitting, it feels orchestrated just for you. That's not your job to figure out. Your job was to release the block and open the door. And now that door is open. Part 2. Write it like it's already returned. There's a moment in this ritual that asks more of you than any other. It's not choosing the box. It's not placing the money. It's writing their name and saying, thank you, as if the debt has already been repaid. That moment, that's where most people pause. Not because it's hard to do physically, but because emotionally, it feels unnatural, uncomfortable, even unfair. After everything they did or didn't do, why should you be the one saying thank you? But this isn't about them. Not anymore. This part of the ritual is about you reclaiming the narrative. It's about stepping out of the role of the one who's still waiting, hoping, wondering, and stepping into the version of you who's already moved forward, lighter, freer, restored. This sentence, thank you for fully repaying me, isn't a trick. It's a tool, a vibration, a message you're sending not to their inbox, but to the energy field around you that shapes what you attract and what you block. When you write their name, whether it's their full name, a nickname, even just a first name, you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for clarity. Clarity of intention, clarity of memory. Your hand might shake. That's okay. That's part of the release. What matters most isn't the handwriting, it's the focus behind it. Think of their name like a frequency and this paper like the antenna. You're tuning into the connection that once held generosity, now tangled in silence. You're acknowledging the bond and preparing to shift it. Then comes the sentence, just one line, no edits, no additions, no extra details. Don't add the amount. Don't explain the situation. Don't lace it with conditions. Just write. In your own hand, thank you for fully repaying me. Keep it plain. Keep it powerful. You're not trying to convince them. You're aligning yourself with a new outcome. An outcome where you're not chasing, you're receiving. And as you write that sentence, something happens if you allow it. Your body softens, your jaw loosens, your breath evens out. Because your nervous system recognizes what your conscious mind may still be catching up to. Letting go doesn't mean losing. It means making space for something better to arrive. You're not surrendering the debt. You're surrendering the burden of holding it. After writing, fold the paper into 3. Not as a formality, but as a signal. The first fold is for the past, the moment the debt was created. The second is for the present, your decision to shift. The third is for the future, the return you are ready to welcome. Fold slowly, with care. Like you're wrapping a gift not for someone else, but for yourself. In this quiet act of writing, you are releasing resentment without pretending it didn't exist. You are affirming your worth without needing validation. You are stepping out of the cycle of reminders, frustration, and false hope, and into a space where energy moves again, in your favor. The power in this moment comes not from force, but from grace. And grace is not weakness. It's strength without shouting. It's conviction without bitterness. It's what allows healing to begin where control has failed. Now, take a breath. Look at the paper in your hands, and notice how different it feels now. Not because they've changed, but because you have. You've shifted from being owed to being open. And that shift, that's everything. Place this folded paper in the box, next to the bill. Not beneath it, not hidden, but side by side, as if the words and the money are having their own quiet conversation. One saying, "I'm ready," the other saying, "Then let's begin." This is the part of the ritual most people overlook, the intention behind every move. But your energy is intelligent. It listens. It mirrors your emotional tone, not your spoken words. That's why you must mean what you write. Not with perfection, but with honesty. If part of you still feels tight, uncertain, resistant, that's okay. Don't fight it. Breathe through it. Write through it. And with every word, soften just a little more. Because the truth is, the universe doesn't work on fairness as humans define it. It works on resonance. On the energy you emit. On the expectations you live inside. When you write as if the debt is already returned, you shift your frequency from lack to fulfillment, from waiting to welcoming. And this doesn't just affect money, it affects everything. Relationships, work, peace of mind. Because when you practice wholeness in one part of your life, it begins echoing into all the others. So yes, this might feel strange, foreign, even silly, but so does healing at first. Until it doesn't. Until you realize the power of choosing peace over proof, wholeness over holding on. This part of the ritual isn't a shortcut. It's not a spell. It's a conversation between the part of you that remembers what was taken, and the part of you that knows you're already safe, already worthy, already being restored. Let the words be your signal. Let the page be your release. And let this be the moment you stopped asking when and started preparing for how. Because what's meant for you doesn't need chasing. It needs calling. And today, with ink and paper and a quiet, steady heart, you just called it home. Part 3. Whisper this, then close the box. There's a silence that's not empty, it's full. Full of emotion, full of meaning. Full of the moment just before something changes. That's the kind of silence you want around you now. No TV humming in the background, no notifications flashing. Just space, just breathe, just you and the box. This is where the ritual becomes real. Everything until now, choosing the items, writing the name, folding the paper, was preparation. Groundwork. But this moment, the one you're in right now, is where the energy turns. It's the still point before the current shifts direction. Sit down. Let your body settle. You don't need to be in a sacred space, just a still one. That's enough. Light a candle if you want. Not because you have to, but because it softens the air. Turn down the lights. Let the outside world dim. You're not here to perform. You're here to align. Place the box in front of you. Don't rush. Don't fidget. This isn't about doing it right. It's about being fully present. Your presence is what gives this power, not perfection, not performance. You've already chosen the items. You've already written the words. Now, you speak them. Look at the box and say out loud, not in your head, "I gave from the heart." And now, You will repay because it is right. Say it slowly. Say it like you mean it. Not with force, not with anger, but with quiet certainty. This is your line, your closure, your release. Repeat it 3 times. The first time opens the door. The second confirms your belief. The third seals the message. You're not speaking to the person. You're not speaking into the air. You're speaking into the energy around the situation, the stuckness, the silence, the delay. You're telling it, gently but clearly, that its time is up. And something subtle shifts. Your voice might tremble. That's okay. Let it. That's your body releasing what it's been holding. You don't need to sound strong, you just need to sound honest. This isn't about showing power. It's about returning to peace. When you finish the 3rd repetition, place your hands gently on the lid of the box. Not like you're forcing it closed. More like you're sealing something sacred. Let your palms rest there, still. And in your mind, offer a quiet thank you, not to a person. Not even to the universe, just a pure thank you, floating in the space between you and what's coming next. Now, close the box. Do it slowly, deliberately, as if you're closing a letter that no longer needs editing. This isn't the sound of giving up. It's the sound of completion. Finality, the kind that brings freedom, not regret. The kind that clears the path for something better. From this moment on, you do not reopen it. You don't peek. You don't rearrange the contents. You don't adjust the note or swap out the money or wonder if it's working yet. That part is over. The message has been sent. The door has been opened. The shift has begun. Store the box somewhere private, a drawer, a shelf, under your bed, beside a journal, a place that feels quiet and safe. Not hidden in fear, but protected in trust. Because now, your work is done, and that's the point. This is where you stop carrying the weight. You've spoken your truth. You've shifted your energy. You've placed your belief in motion. From here, the return begins. Maybe not from who you expected. Maybe not when you hoped. But it will come because you've made room for it. Because you've shown you're ready to receive without clinging, without chasing. That's what this ritual gives you. A way to step out of the story of, I'm still waiting, and into the knowing of, I've already asked, and I trust the answer is on its way. So let the box stay closed. Let the silence stay full. And let this moment mark the one where your energy started to turn. Not because you pushed harder, but because you finally let go. Part 4. It might not come from them, but it will come. There's something quietly painful about waiting for someone who never shows up, especially when it's someone who owes you. You replay how much you gave, how simple it would be for them to make it right, how they seem to go on living, unaffected, while you're still holding on to a wound they pretend isn't there. That kind of absence carves its own space inside you. And you may wonder, if they haven't paid me back yet, will they ever? But here's the truth most people never say out loud. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll never return the money, the effort, the kindness. Maybe they'll move on, without even realizing what they left behind in your world. And while that's unfair, painfully so, it's also not the end. Because even if the repayment doesn't come through them, it can still come to you. In fact, once you let go of how it must return, you open the way for it to return in ways you never saw coming. This is where something deeper begins to take shape. When you release the idea that only they can make you whole again, you step out of dependence and into alignment. And alignment is where the unexpected happens. Where energy, once freed from fixation, begins to move again. Maybe it doesn't look like a check in the mail. Maybe it looks like a refund you forgot you were owed. Maybe it's an opportunity that had gone cold suddenly revived, reoffered, and even more favorable than before. Or maybe something you've long wanted, a piece of furniture, a trip, a course, appears at exactly the price you once lost. Down to the dollar. That's not a coincidence. That's restoration. You may not get the apology. You may not hear, "Hey, I never forgot what I owe you." But one morning, you'll check your account and see a deposit you didn't expect. Or you'll get a call from someone offering work. Or you'll open a drawer and find a gift card you completely forgot, holding just enough to cover something you need right now. These aren't loopholes, they're real, tangible. They're the universe's way of saying, I saw what you gave. I saw what was never returned. And I'm balancing the scales, just not in the way you thought. That's the power of this ritual. It doesn't demand repayment from a person. It opens the door for repayment from the field of possibility itself. Because what you gave in faith, in kindness, in goodwill didn't disappear. It created a signal, an imprint. And that imprint calls out, quietly but persistently, until something answers. And it will answer. Not because you forced it, but because you aligned with it. You stepped out of waiting. You chose release. And release is magnetic. It attracts with softness, not control. Think about it this way. When you hold your breath waiting for something specific, your world gets smaller, tighter. You can't see what's around you, only the one door you're hoping opens. But when you breathe again, when you relax, let go, trust, you notice new doors, windows, openings you never saw. And that's when something slips in, something timely, unexpected, perfectly fitting in its own quiet way. It could be someone paying you back, yes. But it could also be someone else, showing up with exactly the kind of support you needed. A client who's easier to work with. A sale that saves you money. A gift that reminds you you're still cared for. What returns might wear a different face, but it still holds the value you sent out. That's why you must stay open. Not to them, but to the return in all its forms. Because when you tell yourself it must come from one person, you trap yourself in a version of the story that keeps hurting you. And pain that loops isn't healing. It's resisting. But the moment you say, I trust this will be restored however it's meant to, you create movement. And movement is how energy heals. Let the box you closed remain closed. Not because you're ignoring the past, but because you've placed it in sacred space. A space where energy can work on your behalf, without needing your supervision. Your job is done. You wrote, you spoke, you aligned. Now, you live like it's already handled. You carry on, not numb but open. And in that openness, things begin to return. Often, they come not loud or dramatic, but quiet and precise. Like the refund email you nearly delete. Like the message from someone you thought forgot about you. Like the package on your doorstep, small, simple, unexpected, and yet exactly what you needed. These are the whispers of restoration. And if you're still enough, you'll hear them. So no, it might not come from them. But it will come, maybe differently, maybe softer. But real, all the same. Because in the end, you were never really asking for money. You were asking for balance, for peace, for dignity. And those, they have 1,000 ways of making their way home. Final. Not every story ends the way we hoped. Not every person circles back to return what they once held in their hands. What once came from your heart. But that doesn't mean your energy was wasted. It means your story is bigger than that single ending. What you've done here isn't just a ritual, it's a reclamation. You took something invisible, pain, expectation, emotional clutter, and you gave it shape, gave it a place to rest, gave it an exit. And in doing so, you did something most people never do. You let go with grace. Not with revenge, not with begging, but with dignity, with quiet strength, with trust that what is truly yours can never be held away from you for long. Because energy doesn't respond to pressure, it responds to clarity. And you've made your message clear through a box, a bill, a name, a whisper, a choice. That clarity becomes movement. That movement becomes return. And return, in time, becomes peace. So wherever you are right now, whether still holding your breath, or slowly letting it go, know this: you are not stuck. You are not forgotten. And you are not foolish for caring. What you gave was real. And it will find its way back to you. Maybe not in the form you expected, but in the exact way you need. Thank you for being here. For watching with an open heart. For choosing softness in a world that often rewards hardness. You've already shifted something, even if it's just inside you. And sometimes, that's where all change begins. I hope the next thing that finds you feels like ease. I hope what returns arrives with grace. And I hope you always remember you're allowed to let go and still receive. Until next time, be gentle with your story. It's still unfolding, and you're doing better than you think.